And we are live. All right, welcome, Jessica. I'm very excited to get to know you and get to know your story and what you're up to in life because I know very little about you at this point, and I love to find out throughout the episode. But before we get into the professional life and before we get into all of that and your story, this week, what is it like to be you as a human?
Oh, this week. Oh gosh. My weeks vary because obviously being a mum, not every week is the same. But my week has actually been really good this one. My weekend started with a speaking gig at the Heidi Anderson Shit Show, and then I had a wedding, and then lots of business orientated things for my upcoming launch. So busy week, but a very wholesome one at the same time. So yeah.
Awesome, busy and wholesome. You mentioned a business launch.
Yes, yes.
So
I
so
am. Yep.
yeah, who are you? What do you do? What are you creating in the world?
Yeah, so I am Jess. I am also known as the perinatal coach. So I am currently about to launch my sovereign birth method. So I basically help expecting women to birth on their terms, their way, and step away from the over medicalization of the birth process. So very, very big, very new and different in the birth space. Nothing else like it out there. So I'm really, really excited to launch this and help women worldwide eventually. So yeah,
Okay, yeah, like you said, very, very big, right?
yeah,
It's a big topic.
yes.
What makes you want to do this? And let's say, what kind of qualifications do you have to be doing
Yeah.
this?
Yeah. So, what made me want to do this was obviously my own birth story, my own experience that just didn't quite go the way that I had envisioned, I had planned, and just a lot of unnecessary interventions that kind of cascaded my birth to kind of go off track. I also struggled in my postpartum, so that is a big core pillar in the sovereign birth method and how I help women integrate into postpartum, especially as first time mums, and just really helping to support that emotional resilience and have some tools in their toolkit to be able to navigate the postpartum phase. So, yeah, that's kind of my big why, obviously stemming from my own story. Um, so, yeah, what was the second question you asked?
What are your qualifications, right? So, um, is it all coming from your story, from your experience, or did you also study something like in medical school or something like this?
Yeah, so I'm actually a paramedic. That is my background. I
Oh,
studied a
okay.
Bachelor of Health Science and worked as a
Nice.
paramedic for 3 years. I then went on to study functional medicine and became a functional health practitioner. So I was doing a lot of one-on-ones with women and their health up until now. And now I've got a mindset and emotional intelligence qualification, so NLP and that kind of thing as well. So lots of other little women coaching certifications under my belt. But yeah, that's basically the gist of my qualifications.
Okay. Yeah, sounds great. I ask like qualifications because it can be like a blurry line what actually qualifies you. And I'm not a big believer that you need some higher authority to tell you, yes, you can help people now. Like,
Yeah. Yes.
like if you of course there's issues with this where people who are way underqualified overpromise things, right? But with that said, I do believe that if you truly just want to help people and you do your absolute best, you can just start helping people. Um,
100%, 100%, yeah.
but it's also of course good to learn more, study more, and try and like
Always,
improve yourself
always.
more.
You should always be learning and growing all through life. Like it that just never stops. Never stops. The day
Yeah.
you stop learning something is the day you're dead, basically.
Mm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. I like that quote.
Yeah.
What was it like for you transitioning from a paramedic only to a business owner and a coach and to running your own business?
Oh, it was a bit bumpy. I actually had only just had my daughter, so she was about 6 months old when I started my business. Um, I stopped working before that, kind of when the pandemic hit, was when I stopped working. Um, I hold a little controversial belief, which is why I kind of went into the route that I did with functional medicine and kind of stepping away from the conventional medical system. Um, and yeah, it was a little rocky, obviously starting a business with a baby in tow. But I managed to do it, and I'm quite proud of where I am now with it. My daughter's 2 now, so
Mm,
yeah, I'm quite glad that I stepped out of the conventional system and stepped away from, and started listening to what I actually wanted and my intuition in that regard. So yeah.
mm, mm. How long ago was this? Maybe I missed this. How long ago did you actually start?
Oh, so well, my daughter's 2, so when she was about 6 months old, so 2022, I started my business.
Okay, so nice, nice. Did you get any surprises that you like didn't expect? Like, or what were your expectations versus reality of starting a business and becoming a coach?
Oh, I had the expectation that it was going to be easy.
Okay.
I was very naive in thinking that starting a business was just going to be a breeze. People were just going to start buying from me. And yeah, it was a very rude shock when that's not the way it went. So yeah, that would probably be the biggest thing for me, was having that false sense of how it was going to turn out.
Yeah, I see this a lot actually because it seems like it's just so easy, right? Like, oh, all of these other people are doing it, right? Like, they just make a few videos and then they get clients and then, yay, happy life.
Yeah,
And then you get started and then it's like you don't hear anything back, right? And you message so many people and then nobody replies, or like one reply and they're like, no, I don't want this, or and then you're like, whoa, how do people actually do this, right?
I know.
So how
And
did you
social media, I think, gives people that false sense of how it looks too. Yeah. Yeah.
how did you persevere, right? So you went from this is gonna be easy and I'm excited to do this to oh my god, this is not good. This is not even easy at all like I expected. How did you persevere to and push through that so then you're still doing it?
I think it was just more, I guess, around the type of person that I am, and just this was something that I wanted. I wanted to do. I wanted to set an example for my daughter. She's a big part of my why in pushing me forward to grow as a person and as a business owner. Um, but just investing in that growth too. So investing, like I invested in my first business coach, and she like they didn't really help me as far as business went. Like it was a bit one of those ones that just flopped. So I invested a lot of money in that and she didn't get me anywhere. So I was like, shit. And then I kind of just had to have the mentality to go, no, right, there's other people out there. I'd been following other business coaches. So I was like, right, I'm going to take a leap and do it again. So I've invested a lot of money, but it just goes to show that you really need to do research into who you're investing your time with, because there are a lot of business coaches and a lot of people out there. The market is saturated and everything. So really make sure that you vibe, that you click, and that they are where you want to be. If you're learning from someone that isn't like already hit the goal that you're wanting to hit, then they're not the right coach for you. So yeah, it definitely came down to just persevering in making sure that I was growing and that I was learning all the time and learning from different people, and yeah, and being careful where I was investing my money and who I was learning from, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, because I ask because the main problem or the main issue that I take with the coaching industry is the the timelines. Like the
Mm,
unexpected, ridiculous timelines, and of course the difficulty um, that people sell, right? So
yeah.
meaning, hey, start a coaching business and be making $10,000 a month in 3 months, in 90 days, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's just like so unrealistic
Yes.
for the
Yeah.
vast majority of people, especially if they add with no experience. That's just
Mm,
like that's not possible, right?
yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
think it should be possible in a way, because like if you're rushing it that fast with no experience, how much can you actually deliver, right?
Mm,
And
yeah.
so that's what I take issue with these unrealistic timelines, with with ridiculous money claims. That I'm good with that if you actually are realistic about, because I totally believe that you can get to 1 million or you can get to 500,000 a month, or like literally crazy amounts of money that you can make
Mm,
in a business. But it's not going to be 90 days. It's not going to be 2 years when we're talking millions. It's not going to be 1 or 2 years. So it's probably going to be more like a 5 years or a decade.
I
And
think that also changes though, depending on where you're at in business, as far as the knowledge you have around business, what your business model is, what kind of industry you're in. Like, there's so many different variables as to who's going to hit that first mill first. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, there's just so much. Yeah. And I'm totally with you on the unrealistic timelines. I think it's just very clickbaity.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I've been considering this a while, right? And then it becomes a little bit more of an issue for us who are like trying to be really honest and trying to be like
Mm,
authentic, and it's like, why would I buy from this guy who's telling me it's going to take me 3 years if I can buy from this guy who's telling me it's going to take me 3 months, right? I'm going to go here, of course, right?
yeah.
And they make it so, and they make it so believable. So
Yes, they do.
yeah, it can be tough that way.
Mm.
And yeah, so the timelines is the one that I'm not a fan of. What, and you said as well, like you expected it to be easy. Did you also expected it to be faster?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I did. I definitely thought I would be a lot further along in two
Mm-hmm.
years. But it all comes, I guess, down to loving the process as well as the destination. Like, you need to enjoy learning and growing along the way, because then when you hit that destination and that first goal, because obviously your goals are going to continuously change. Whenever you hit one, then there's going to be another one, so you have to enjoy that process. So I
Yeah.
think that's a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm staying on this topic because I've had a very similar experience to this, right? And I'm trying to be
Yeah.
very honest about it, and I like that you share as well, because this is the reality, right? And I talk to many people all the time these days on the podcast. I talk to people who are just getting started, who want to get started, or who feel stuck like in the
Mm,
beginning, so who've been doing it for 2 years. And I talk to people who've been doing it for 20 years, right? And it's for the people that I actually believe and I vibe with, it's always the same. Or it didn't take 3 months. It took this long. It took a lot longer than I expected, right? And the common thread is, yeah, black people persevered anyways,
mm,
and of course a lot of people who didn't make it just quit way too early.
yes.
And
Yeah.
and but I think this is an important piece to talk about, because way too many quit too early because they just don't know, right?
Mm,
Like, if I know that, oh, it's supposed to be like this, then I'm much more likely to keep going. But if I'm thinking, oh, it was supposed to take 3 months, I've been doing this for 5 months and nothing's working, I should just
yeah.
quit. Like, what's the point, right? Because I'm already
Mm.
failing at it. But it's just like you just haven't done it enough yet, and that's the reality.
Or you could do one tiny little
Yeah,
change from
A little bit.
hitting it. Yeah, yeah, like a tiny little pivot in messaging or whatever it is. Yeah, and you could just all of a sudden skyrocket. Like any successful entrepreneur out there, like Harmozy and Elon Musk, like they didn't quit because it didn't happen in 5 months. Like they tried and failed over and over and over again. And it just comes down to that perseverance that you really want this for a bigger reason outside of yourself, I think.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, yeah. For whatever reasons that you have for yourself, when it comes to the coaching business, definitely it's got to be outside of yourself.
Mm.
And even outside your family in a way. For maybe other businesses, you can have like I want to just retire my parents, but it's still outside. You know, it is still outside of yourself, I guess. So that's a good point.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Or you just want freedom, like you want time freedom and financial freedom. I mean, we all want that, but whether or not that's a driving force enough for you to continue through the shit that is a business. Like it's not easy running a business. It's stressful, it's time consuming until you get it right and streamline things and it's takes time like everything. Everything worth having takes time.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. One more thing I'm really curious about. I'm thinking of how to frame this question. When you started thinking about getting into business, was it always clear for you that you want to be this kind of coach, or did you think of like maybe I want to do this kind of business, or maybe this kind of coaching, or maybe this, and then you kind of just zoned in afterwards, or was it
Yeah,
always really clear?
good question. So I knew that I wanted to start a business. I didn't really know what when I first started. And then it kind of, because I just had a baby, I was like, okay, I could do something around the birth space. And then I kind of pivoted and went down the functional health route and just working one on one with women. So I was like, okay. So I did that for a little while. And I've only just switched back into the birth space in the last 4 months from doing one on ones because I was just like, right, my heart and soul is not quite in what I'm doing.
Mm,
So there's something that I just wanted to figure out that I did want to do, and I finally found it. And it's obviously come back 360 to the birth space, which is the thought that I had originally when I started. So this is definitely my purpose. Like, this is my truth. I can speak to this on so many different levels. I can help women through this from my pain. So it's definitely a driving force for me, and to because I have a daughter, to help change this whole industry as a whole in this space for when she has children one day. Like it's just yeah. So no, I definitely wasn't on this path from day dot. And it took a little while to get to it, but yeah, it definitely comes down to, I think, listening to what you really want to do and not what you think others might want you to do or what might make others proud. It really has to come down to you and you alone and what you're doing, because you need to put your heart and soul into what you're doing. Otherwise, it just won't work the way you want it to. So, yeah,
yeah.
it definitely comes down to shutting out all the noise and tuning into what it is you really want to do and what your purpose is in life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I, I think you're very much on point, and again, thanks for sharing that because it's very rare. I've seen people, and this is kind of where I see a difference, but it's quite rare where people just kind of start and they're like, this is the kind of business that I want to do right from the start. I see a lot of people kind of in the beginning, I want to have more freedom, I want to have more choices, right? I want to have more choices in my life, I just want to have more freedom, I just want to go be able to travel and do this, be my own boss, and then start figuring out, okay, what business am I going to do and how this actually works. And
Mm,
even if I already know I want to be in the coaching industry or in the knowledge space, it's like, okay, what am I going to teach or what am I going to coach on, right? And there's so many of these different um, aspects that you can take and directions that
mm,
you can go. And I see
yeah.
that people struggle with that a lot sometimes, right? That or should I be a relationship coach, or should I just be a life coach in general? Like, what does that even mean? Or maybe inner child healing coach, or maybe this, or maybe fitness, or and it's like, how do you
Yeah.
actually finally choose that one thing? And I think a part of it is kind of going through, again, it takes some time, right? Like, and you got to test it out a little bit and be like, how,
Mm,
okay, let me try being this kind of coach and see how it feels if I want to talk about this for the next few years, because it is a
mm,
commitment for the next few years minimum, right?
absolutely.
And so you said you kind of started there and then you went other places, other ways, and then you kind of came back to it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
that's a interesting. Why would you say that you stepped away from it? You were thinking in the beginning, this is what I want to do, and then you kind of stepped away from it, and then you
Yeah.
came back.
Good question. So that actually, I did a lot of internal reflection before switching back into the birth space because I was like, something's not sitting right. Like this just doesn't feel like it's what I really want to be doing. So I did a lot of internal reflection, and I actually came to the realization that probably most of my adult life and my career, I have made the choices based on what others will think of me and what will
Mm,
make other people proud, or, a little bit of my ego coming out, like what will sound really like impressive, like to other people. So that was a big self reflection that I did. Um, to obviously come full circle and be like, right, well, this is actually what I want to do for me. And in doing so, I have found my voice. Like, I obviously was very, like, I couldn't speak on camera because I wasn't really in it before. Whereas now I'm like, I can speak on camera about this. Like, this is my truth. This is my purpose. This is what I want to be sharing to the world, and it's got nothing to do with anybody else. So, yeah, that was a really big pivotal moment in my business to come full circle back to what I originally started my business for. And yeah, obviously becoming a new mum. So that was really big.
okay, amazing. Yeah, thanks for sharing that as well. I can resonate. It's I've had obviously a little bit of a different journey, but with these patterns, I can resonate a lot, right?
Yeah.
And so I'd say I'll start a little bit from the beginning. When I love to I've asked the question of what is it like to be you in the very beginning, because of the social media flashy life. Oh, look at this, look at that. This seems easy. I'm working from the beach kind of thing. When I'm running a business, I'm working from the beach, and the reality isn't not even is not even close to that, right? And so
No.
I said, like, what is it actually like to be you? And my answer would be that from the outside, it might seem like really amazing. Like, I've been a nomad for the past 2.5 years doing my coaching business. And now I'm in Vietnam. I live 5 minutes from the beach, but I don't really work from the beach because
Yeah.
it's not really that productive over there. Like, cannot see the screen and stuff. Anyways,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
every now and then we might go there to make some videos and stuff. But um, so from the outside it is like, oh, you're so lucky you get to travel and this and that, and you're always happy. And from the inside, from like, it's just life. Like, I wake up, I have a little bit of a morning routine, and I work, and I work, and I have
Mm,
meetings, and I work, and I have meetings, and I write, and then I make a video, and then I edit a video, and then I have a meeting, and like, it's just work, right? And then every couple months I'm gonna change a country, and or change an apartment, and live over there, and I go to events, and I host events and things like that, right? But
yeah.
it's still
Yeah.
like a very busy. It's not like this amazing dream life. It's just work. It's just different kind of work to what I used to do when I worked at the airport and building my business on the side, right?
Mm,
And so when it comes to starting the business, I can resonate with the pattern of, I started here, this is what I want to do, but maybe I'm not good enough yet, or what other people gonna think, so maybe I have to go here or here or here. And then it's like, okay, no, screw this, I'm gonna come back to the original thing. And so for me it was
yeah.
the same. Like, when I first started thinking of a business, I was like, I want to help people with their mindset and with their confidence, with mental health, because that's what I did, right? Like, overcame my own social anxiety and depression without therapy and medication. which is something that we could talk about maybe later, or maybe even on
Yeah.
another conversation about the medication, and like
Mm.
how everything is so over medicated, like you said, even birth. But in the
Yes.
mental health space, it's the same, right? And so I was like, I want to share my journey and help people develop these skills and this basic fundamental like knowledge about emotional intelligence and social skills that I developed throughout trying to
Yeah.
overcome my social anxiety. And then my brain came and it was like, but I'm not, I'm too young and nobody's gonna listen to my life advice yet, right?
Mm.
Or like, who
Yeah.
am I? Like, people are going to judge me, people are going to laugh at me that I'm trying to be a coach as a 20-year-old kid, right? And all of
Yeah.
these limiting beliefs and the judgment started coming in. So I was like, okay, you know what? I have to become rich and successful first in something else, and then I can come back and start coaching people, right?
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
went on this whole quest of like, okay, I'm gonna figure out a different business. I did drop shipping, I did affiliate marketing, I did a social media marketing agency for a bit, right? And I tried all of these different things, but like you said, nothing really worked because like I wasn't in it. Like I didn't
Yes.
really care, and so I wasn't fully committed into it, and I wasn't fully committed it at the time, let alone for years to come, because it wouldn't. It just so when it didn't work for a few months, I was like, okay, next. This is not working. I'm gonna try something else. And
Yeah.
now looking back, like if I had done dropshipping for the past 5 years since I first started in 2019, I would have probably a very successful e-commerce and dropshipping brand, right? If I did affiliate marketing only in this space, then I would have a probably very successful brand because it's been 5 years. But because I
Mm.
quit so early, that's why it didn't work. But also the
Yeah.
courses or the gurus that I listened to back then, because I didn't know any better, they told me it's going to be a few months. So I was like, after a few months, I quit because there was no results.
Mm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually, I'll add this. I think I found a video of me back from 2020, and this was maybe I've been doing this for like 5 months or something, or 6 months, and I found a video of me saying, "Oh my God, I just got my first affiliate commission in my like gallery on Google Photos." And it was like a $5 commission that I never even got paid out afterwards, because you'd have to make like $50 to be able to get paid out, and that was like the
Yeah.
only commission I've ever made and never made any more. So I didn't even get paid out, but I was like, okay, I made a video about, oh, maybe this is actually going to work. I just made my first commission. So there's like little wins maybe along the way, but nothing of like, oh, this is a successful business now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
coming back, I finally was like, okay, this is not working. I need to change something. And I found a coach, and I had a call with her, and she was like, okay, so you're doing all of these different things. Well, what do you really want to do? What business do you really want to do? And she didn't know that I wanted to do coaching yet. I was just telling her about all of
Mm.
these different offers. And I was like, well, honestly, I just want to be a coach. I want to help people with like their mindset and with their confidence, and help them through my story and through what I've learned with personal development. And before she even could say anything, I was like, but I'm too young and nobody's gonna listen to me. So, I have to do this first. I have to do something else first. And I'll probably never forget this. You know how in the talent shows they have the buzzers when they don't like something, they like press the buzzer and it's like, "Durr," and it's the
Yeah.
X.
Yeah.
She had a little portable one like hidden around next to her laptop. As I said it, nobody's gonna listen to me. She like buzzed it out, and she's like, I'm like, huh? What happened, right? And she said, well, that's a limiting belief. I'm like, what was that? And she like showed me the buzzer. I'm like, oh, it's so funny. But it
Yeah.
helped interrupt the pattern, right? And that's why she was doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
that's
love that.
genius. It was funny, and she helped
Mm.
interrupt the pattern. And then she took me through this process of, okay, hold up. Why are you good enough right now? Right? And this became like a centerpiece exercise that I always give people who are struggling with the same thing. Like, maybe I'm not good enough to do this yet. Okay, you have all of these reasons why you're not good enough. Calm down, take a piece of paper or a journal, write down at the top of the page, why am I good enough to do this right now? And
Mm.
write a list of at least 10 reasons, no matter how tiny they are. Write a list of at least 10 reasons. And then when I thought about it, I was like, well, I've been studying this practical psychology for 6 years. Write it down. I overcame my own depression basically by myself without meds. Write it down. I overcame depression by myself. Write it down. I was able to go
Mm.
from not being able to like being stuck in anxiety to speaking to strangers on buses. Write it down, right? I've already helped other people as I was healing my truly learning with myself. I already talked to a few other people who've made improvements before because of my journey and because of how I inspired them. Write it down, right? And I started writing all of these reasons, and then I looked at it at the end. I was like, whoa, I am good enough, like literally right now,
Yeah.
right? And so I dropped everything, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm starting my own coaching business, dropped everything else, started a Facebook group, and started only making videos about personal development and sharing my story. And this was the summer of 2020, so more than 4 years ago now, when I fully
Mm.
committed to the coaching business. And yeah, since then I was able to quit my job and start traveling the world and speak on stages in three different continents, on three different
That's
continents in many countries
amazing.
in person, and then obviously very much globally on online and on different virtual conferences and many podcasts and shows and
Mm.
TV shows and things like that. And so I also went kind of like the full circle, you know. When I started here, I was like, this is what I want to do, but I can't do it yet because I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I am good enough. Let's do it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Mm, I
could
love
have,
that.
if I didn't listen to my limiting belief, and if I didn't listen to, not just, it wasn't maybe just not my own limiting belief, but it was other people's judgments and what other people imposed
Mm.
on me, right? If
Mhm.
I didn't
Yeah.
listen to that, I would have saved myself a year and I would have been probably much more further ahead in the specific coaching business if I started a year
Yeah.
earlier, right? Because it compounds, and the longer you do it, the easier it gets, and the more people know you, and then right? And
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously, afterwards, it became like you said. Oh, expectations is in 90 days I'm gonna be making I'm gonna do this and that, and then reality
Yeah.
was different. But I remember that I knew and I was ready to make it for a long time. Like I was hoping and I was expecting that it's going to be much easier than it actually turned out to be. And obviously, I
Mm.
wanted to quit many times, right? And I remember specific moments when I was just like, this, I should just like, forget about this, just do my job, and maybe try and become a supervisor at the airport. So, rank up at because I was working as a baggage handler. Um,
Yeah.
Maybe I should just forget about the business and maybe I can change the airport. Like if I work for 5 years over here, maybe I can go work at an airport in New Zealand later and live there. Maybe I can go work at an airport in the US sometime or maybe, and it's not what I really wanted to do, but like I was like, oh, maybe this business isn't going to work because it was so much harder than I thought. Happy that I persevered because oh my god, this is so much better than working at
Yeah.
airports
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
working at airports. So that's been kind of my journey. So I resonate with a lot of what you said, and and yeah,
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, it definitely takes overcoming that adversity and all the things that have, I guess, life has tried to push you down, but you're just
yeah.
like, nope, I'm keep going. I'm still going. So yeah, it's very inspiring story. Yeah.
I think life will always push you down, and you have to push against it in a
Mm,
in a way,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
life will test you, right?
I think it comes down that comes down to mindset. It's how you view the world, how you view the obstacles that are presented to you as, some people can either be like, oh, you know, shit just always goes wrong, like nothing ever goes right in my life. Or you could be, right, what can I learn from this? Or how can I move around this? Like there's two very different people that'll view the same situation, but differently. So yeah, I definitely think mindset plays a huge role in how a lot of people overcome the things in life that aren't, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I have a few questions. Let me see which one I want to start with. What's next for you? What are you most excited about for the next few years?
Oh, I think what I'm most excited about is finally getting this program out into the world. um, that's probably the biggest thing that I really want to just go headfirst in for the next couple of years and grow it and expand it. And it's obviously an in-person event, so I really like
Mm,
would love it to spread obviously across my country and then eventually go worldwide. So that I'm hoping is my 5-year plan from now. So yeah,
amazing. All right, so you're
yeah.
starting in person.
Yes, yeah. So it's a 4-day in-person immersion for expecting women to really help
Amazing.
them build confidence and clarity around their upcoming birth and their
Amazing.
postpartum and just help them navigate it the way they want.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. That's really
Yes.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
Mm.
I'm sure that comes with a lot of with a set of challenges itself doing it in person. And that's I've done a few in-person events, but nothing really this heavy. I've done like open mics or little workshops here and there, but most of the
Mm.
things that I do is online, right?
Yeah.
And even if I have like a couple day challenges, a couple day events, it's been all online. M- because I've always wanted to become a nomad and have travel around the world and do all this. So it's like, okay, I have to figure out to do this all online. And funny
Yes.
enough, afterwards it became, okay, how can I do more in-person things? Because this online world is amazing, but
Mm.
I also want to do face-to-face things, right?
Relaxed
And it,
connection, I think. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So you're launching a new in-person program. I think I saw a little bit on your Instagram that it's launching in when is it launching?
Yeah, so I'm starting to launch in December, but the doors don't officially open until January for it. I'm running the first round in March. So
Okay,
the first time
nice.
anybody's ever heard it. So
Oh, let's
yes,
go. So commitment
yes,
is out there.
yeah, yeah.
Commitment is
It's
out there. I love
happening.
it. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, so that's gonna be very exciting. And then you said you want to
Mm,
spread it across the country and eventually globally as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd love it. Love it
Wonderful,
to just be everywhere. I think all
wonderful,
women need this support and need to know their rights and understand what rights they have. Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. How has networking and connecting with people helped you with in your business journey?
Networking and connecting with people has actually made me realize that I like people, funny enough. I used to always have the
I
mindset
love
that I
that.
didn't like people.
Okay.
um, so funny enough, I actually really love connecting and vibing with other people. So hence the in-person event that I've created. But
Mm,
I think it's helped me grow not only in that respect, but my confidence as well, being able to talk to strangers and
mm,
um, be able to articulate and yeah, it's really helped on that front, which I think is very important in business in general. But yeah, particularly in mine, because that was always a limiting belief of mine was that I'm not confident enough. Um, and it's only since doing some self healing and some mindset journey recently, actually, that I actually am a confident person. I don't know where that limiting belief ever stemmed from, but yeah, I actually don't care what other people think. I'm just here speaking my truth, doing my thing, and just being authentically me. And I'm not going to vibe with everybody, and that's okay. Like, not everybody's going to vibe with everybody, which is totally fine. So that's probably been the biggest thing for me networking is that communication and being able to, I think, just drill into me that I am confident and I've got this. Like, I can do this.
mm.
Yeah.
I can again relate so much to before like didn't like people, right? "Ah,
Yeah.
I just don't like people. I'm an introvert. I'm just gonna be by myself and I don't want to talk to people at all." But
Yeah.
by actually going out and talking to people, I found out that people are amazing, right? And I actually love connecting with you. Granted, I still need my own space, right, and my own
Yes.
peace, and
Yes.
I need to recharge. But there are so many wonderful people out there, and I think it really depends on who you connect with, like who the people that you're
Mm,
actually connecting with are, right? And
yeah.
there's energy chargers and energy
Energy drainers. Yeah.
vampires or energy suckers or
Yes. Yeah.
vacuums,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever you want to call them, right? So it's like
Yes.
so exhausting to try and talk to this person. And with other people, it's like, oh, this is amazing. Oh my God. Even when you're
Yeah.
talking to them for the first time. And I absolutely fell in love in becoming like a member of communities and participating in these like recurring events or networking events or open
Yeah.
mics or and things like that where you can connect with people. I was just at a call of from a community of one of my mentors yesterday, and they had because they're based in the US and they had this like um Thanksgiving themed call where everybody or almost everybody, it was a lot of people, almost everybody on the call shared their biggest challenge that they've overcome and what are they most grateful for. And it was like a incredibly inspiring story after inspiring story, and the energy was just so great. And it also showed me like a reminder of like how amazing and how grateful I am to be a part of a community like that. Like people sharing
Mm,
like last year I was homeless, and today I have a business because I went through ups and downs and and I'm not homeless anymore. I'm so grateful that I have a roof over my head. I'm like,
yeah.
whoa, okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
a good one, right? And
Yeah.
so many other stories. Um, and I love how people transform their like pain into purpose, and they're
Yes.
so vibrant and energetic and so enthusiastic about what they're doing in life in the world these days and what they're creating, right? And what kind of impact we can
Mm.
make, how we can make the world a better place. And
I
I
think that's a
absolutely love
big
that.
one to touch on because I just attended an in-person event on Friday, and they had a couple of speakers, and one of them, she said something that really stuck with me, and it was so she went through her whole journey of pain right up until the success, but she basically said that you know, people don't see the pain of where she's got through to be where she is today. Like you only see the success on social media. You don't see the turmoil that people have actually endured in their life up until the success has begun. And that really stuck with me because I was like, yes. And that kind of, I think, comes back to that whole social media creates a false sense of reality for people that other people are living this fairy tale life. And it's like, well, they're still
Hmm.
people. They're only showcasing you the best parts. Like, yeah. So that was just something that really, really stuck out with me. But yeah, I that event was amazing. Yeah, there was a lot of shared stories and a lot of pain from people that you would never know just having general conversations. So yeah,
Yeah.
very, very important I think to remember.
Yeah, like you said, you'd never really know, and people will look at us, especially as you grow and you have a successful event here, and then you grow across the country. And I totally believe that you're going to do it, right? So
Mm,
people will start saying, "Oh, you're so lucky you have this business, or you're so lucky you get to do this, or you're so lucky you get to speak on these stages and share your story."
yeah.
And a lot of people will not see the reality and the struggle that you actually had to go through to to be able to do this, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you cannot bypass that, I think. And that's what a lot of people miss these days, because it seems like it's just so amazing, right? And like you said, like
Mm,
now, like I wouldn't even be able to tell that you used to hate people or that you used to be not confident, because you're like
yes.
super open, right? You share your story here live. You don't know how many people might be watching, and you
Mm,
just super honest and confidently show up and share your story and share your insights. And I get the same thing. Like people look at me and like, you social anxiety? No way, no way.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I like to highlight this as well, because so many times people get stuck into, oh, I'm just not this kind of person. I'm just not an entrepreneur person. I'm just not a people person. I'm just,
Mm,
if you are not that kind of person now, doesn't mean that you cannot change and become more of a person that you want to be, right? And
Mm.
and I believe that very little of our personality or of who we are is actually in our like DNA or how we were born. Most of it is learned and repeated, right?
Yes.
Or somebody else told you and you picked it up. I had a call with somebody
Mhm.
recently who said, I want to start a business, but I'm just not entrepreneur. I'm just not entrepreneur. And I was like, well, that's an interesting thing to say. Like, if you keep saying this, you're never going to build a business. Come on, you know?
Yes.
And she said,
Yeah.
yeah, it's because like back when I was in school, this like counselor who's helping people decide, he's helping kids decide what direction to take and career. She told me you're just not entrepreneurial.
Ah.
That's so
Yeah.
sad, right? Come on,
Mm.
why would you say that to a kid?
I
And but
know.
she picked it up and ran with it, and it's not
Yeah.
true at all, right? She could be the like she could have the most amazing potential to build an amazing business and impact the world in a big way, but because somebody else told her she's just not entrepreneur and she picked it up and she kept repeating it, unless
Yes.
you're going to change that. But she can just decide, oh, I'm going to become an amazing businesswoman, right? And
Yeah.
start training yourself that way. And I
It's just
think
a
that's
belief that's formed. That's
yeah,
all. You've formed
yeah,
a belief based on what one person said, so you change the belief. That's all
yeah,
you have to do. You just
yeah,
change the belief, and yeah, whatever your internal narrative, what you talk, how you talk to yourself, what you say to yourself, you manifest into reality. So if she continues to say, yeah, I'm just not an entrepreneur, she's manifesting that into her reality. Whereas if she flips the scripts and goes, I am an entrepreneur, I can be a businesswoman, then it,
yeah,
it just manifests differently. So yeah,
yeah.
100%.
Actually starts rewriting the way you think, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how was this for you when were you always, did you think you always had like this kind of open-minded growth mindset, or did you have to shift from more of a fixed mindset towards, no, actually I can become things, I can change, I can learn new things?
Yes, I definitely was not always this person. I was definitely not always as open in my pain and my issues. But I actually suffered myself from depression in my early 20s. So I was very much a fixed mindset. I was very much a I can't, I will never, I don't deserve kind of mindset. That was how I used to talk to myself. And for a long time, I never really achieved anything. I went from job to job. I was just, kind of floating through life and then just getting drunk on weekends. And it was just like a whole spiral and a whole cycle. And I think the turning point was possibly when I went to uni, back to uni, to study to become a paramedic. So I was in my
Mm,
early 20s when I decided to go back to school. And I think that was like the very first start for me. Obviously, I'm now 30, so this is like quite a long journey to kind of
yeah.
be in that cycle of healing. But that I think was the first start for me. I think the thing that really blew it open for me was becoming a mum. I
Mm,
think that was my portal into really honing in on that healing and that self love and how I change the way that I talk to myself because I've just given birth to a daughter. How do I want her to talk to herself? Like, I don't want
mm,
her to ever
wow, yeah,
same narrative that I have had in my head about herself. So that really pushed me into the healing and the mindset game. And I've been on it ever since. And yeah, I think having a big why is a good push to to continue on this journey. So yeah, that's I definitely haven't always been this person. So yeah, it's been a journey and it's been a good growth. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. I think that's also important to share that even though we weren't these kinds of people before, at some stage we realized, oh wait, I can actually become more of what I choose, right? And I can
hmm
work on it, and I can change who I am, and that's a
yeah,
good thing, right? A lot of people are stuck in like, I don't want to change, I don't want to change myself. it's a really good thing to change who you are and who you want to be.
Mm.
And
A
I
good
love this
quote.
quote that,
Oh, sorry.
oh, go on.
Yeah,
What
a
what
good
quote do you
quote
have?
is whatever you're not changing, you're choosing.
Mm, I love that. That's a good one.
Yeah, it always comes down to a choice. You're either choosing to stay the same or you're choosing to change.
Mm,
Yeah,
I love that one. That's a powerful one.
yeah,
Another one that I love is, I think my fiance told me this on the first or second day that we met, and she said, "Be who you want to be," right?
mm,
And I like to say maybe become who you want to be, but also even just be who you want to be is a um great quote, because a lot of people say like, just be yourself and things like that, but like that's you're getting stuck in who you don't want to be. What if you really hate who you are now? Or you can always become so much more. So by trying to be who you actually want to be and trying to embody it
mm,
already,
mm,
that's how you
yeah,
grow, right? That's how you
yeah,
grow. All right.
absolutely. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
What a what an amazing conversation. Thank you so much. I also find it fascinating and funny how many like how we always have differences, but also have like so many similarities, right, in our journey and in things.
Yeah,
And you're launching a new program um in January, basically, right? And then
yeah.
you're opening the doors. And it's something that, have you ever done something like this before?
No, no. So
Right.
all of my things before have been online, and
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing, right? So next year you're launching something that you've never done before. I'm doing something similar as well. Like I'm collaborating and I'm super excited about this. I'm collaborating with one of my best friends. Together we have like more than a decade of experience in online coaching and almost 30 years of combined experience in personal development and studying practical psychology and then facilitating growth for other people as well. And I'm super excited to team up and launch a group program with him as a collaboration and have a couple groups go through go through that and team up and do this in a partnership. I think it's going to be very exciting, and I'm really looking
yeah,
forward to that. So
yes,
amazing
exciting.
things coming up,
Yes,
and
2025.
2025 is going to be an absolutely um,
Yes.
amazing year. I really loved this conversation about starting businesses and becoming a coach and getting over the first hurdles, right? We talked about the
Mhm.
expectations versus the reality and how do you persevere? How do you really make this happen? How do you choose, or what do you actually want to do, and how can you follow what you want to do rather than what other
Mhm.
people say you should be doing, or basing it on all off of the judgments. And
Yeah,
you have a
definitely.
very inspiring story. I'm personally definitely going to be following you, um, and we have time, right? I'm 24. My fiance is 24 as well, so we have time in this. But
Absolutely.
we definitely want kids and all that. So that will be nice to have
Yeah,
some
yeah.
guidance from somebody that I've already
No.
gotten to know. And so we'll be definitely following along
Yes.
for the next few
Amazing.
years. And
Yeah. Well, I look
yeah,
forward to having you come through my door eventually.
eventually.
Eventually. When you're ready.
When yeah, where can people
Mm.
follow you?
So I'm on Instagram or Facebook. I am the perinatal coach. So yes, Jessica Leigh. So that is me. You can find me on either of those platforms. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And I will also say that if there's anybody listening who's inspired now about becoming a coach or becoming a parent and dealing with this, if you are already a parent or if you're about to become a parent, definitely connect with Jessica. She's absolutely amazing. And if you are thinking about starting a business or becoming a coach, you've been struggling, don't hesitate to reach out to me. We have so many free resources. I can definitely tell you more about the program that I'm very excited about. I have open mic events that I host every week where you can come practice speaking and connecting with people. And there's always help out there. So you don't have to try and figure it out by yourself. You don't have to stay stuck. And so definitely don't hesitate to reach out to me or to Jessica, to anybody who might be able to help you. And yeah, do you have any closing statements or closing remarks?
No, I think you covered it all. Yeah, it's just you definitely don't have to do it alone. This is a joint effort. Everybody that's in business, we're kind of like a little community. So
Yeah,
we all are very prepared to help. So yeah, you're definitely not in it alone. So obviously, oh yeah, reach out.
amazing. All right, thank you so much for the time. It was very very enjoyable. I'm looking forward to
Yeah, thank
staying in
you.
touch and seeing how much you grow and as you expand to do this globally and all of this.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'll be cheering you. I'll be cheering you on for sure. I'll be thinking about you
Thank
in January and in March when your event is actually happening,
Yes,
and
yeah.
excited to see where you
And
take it.
thank you. Yes, and you too with your collaboration.
Thank you. All right, and that's it. So bye,